I guess it's gonna be a continuation of the 3 minute last stream I did. Um, yeah, I tried to stream earlier, but it wasn't a good time since I was running some other stuff on my computer. So now is a better time. So like I said in that other stream, I'm going to basically be filling out this set, and this is going to be a set for a sort of party scene in the next episode. And basically, I'm going to be modeling some assets, some things to make this scene, not just an empty, not just an empty room, basically. All right. So first, we'll go on a different layer. So the first thing I want to do is add a bar to the scene. But before I do that, I'm gonna create like a little layout for the scene, or for the not the scene, but for the environment. And I'm gonna use this shape that I saw as a reference for that. Okay, so I didn't really mention it in too much detail, but basically what I'm doing is creating a sort of a sort of layout for where certain things on the floor will be, basically like a floor plan kind of thing. Um, just because like I have a bunch of ideas for things like a bar and like like a lounge area where for people to sit down. Like I have ideas for that, but I need kind of like a guideline on where to actually put those things. I think it'll make sense by the by the end of the stream, hopefully. And so I'm using a design I saw on this show, this random kind of design that was on like the wall or something, or the trap, and I'm kind of using that as a guideline for this. So basically, I'm using something pretty random as a guideline. Actually, that looks kind of good. I'm really making most of this up, so this is turning out to look kind of interesting. Okay, now I can make a little clearer what I have been doing. Alright, let me save. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, before I added some more stuff to the scene, I wanted to create kind of like a layout map to where to put things so it's not just scattered randomly. This works well because this is a triangular shape and this is a triangular shape, so that should work well. Okay, so this is basically what I mean to do. See how it's sort of with the circle in the middle, it creates creates like a little design for the floor. Maybe like there. Yeah. And the design is pretty random. It's just random design I saw somewhere. Kind of use that as a guideline. But it looks sci-fi. It looks kind of weird. So it works. So basically, now that I have like let me make sure it's selected. Now that I have like a little design here, I can maybe add like something right here or something right there instead of making like a bar or something or a structure and then just having it any random place in the, because it really was just a wide open, just empty valley of a space. Now there's some guidelines. Now let me make this one big, make this one object, and maybe add some color. No, whoops. I mean, that actually kind of looks cool. Wait a minute. Wait. Does that look better? Wait a minute. I kind of like the way that looks. A little better, actually. Hold on. Let me make a decision. That's really funny. That was a total accident, but that actually looks, instead of like a harder edge triangle, this sort of rounder look actually looks better. It looks, you know, more alien as well, which is always good when you're doing sci-fi. Yeah, that's so funny. That's a total accident. That's hilarious. All right. When you're designing for a long time, things like that become funny. I know it's probably is not for anyone watching this, but to me, anytime anything works out that wasn't according to plan, that you don't have to think through 1,000 times over, I take that as a win. Alright. That's so funny. That's so much better. And then, because I was kind of fine with the triangular look. Okay, this though will stay triangular, just because I wanted to go with let's see, where is it? I wanted to go with this. I want this triangle shape to sort of go with this. So yeah, cool. Actually, that looks better. That actually looks better. Okay. Alright, now I'll turn into one shape. Okay, wait a minute. Don't want Oh wow, that actually worked. Nice. Whoever's watching right now, I really appreciate it because I can tell this must be really tedious to watch because I know this is tedious to do. So hopefully, can move on to something more interesting. Thank you, Deep Sea. I hope it's interesting. I hope so, because I would. It's like sometimes, I do get into the zone a bit, and I'm just kind of like, you know, it is. I do enjoy streaming because it actually helps me focus, but I do forget that I'm like, well, you are, streaming for others' enjoyment as well. Because most of the times when I'm working, I'm working after doing other stuff and kind of it's sometimes, I mean, most of the time when I'm working on my projects like this, it's after I've already done, either gotten back from work or something, or basically I do it in my free time. So sometimes when I'm not streaming, and when it's just up to me to decide to sit and focus and do it, sometimes I'll wander off because a lot of times I am tired by the time I get to doing it. So I gotta fight the focus. Yeah, definitely, especially during especially like more. I was gonna say during the pandemic, but I guess it was more so last year. Because last year was just a weird time. It's like you don't really know what's going on, outside the world. You're like, is this gonna be okay? And luckily now things are still rough, but things are settled. But yeah, it's it's tough. It's especially because it is at my computer. I feel like I feel like working outside of the computer, and when you're like when you're outside of your safe place, your safe zone, basically. I feel like it's easier to actually concentrate because there's not a lot of distractions. Like, which is why I like to. I used to try to kind of like work out at home, and kind of. I used to try to do things like that, but now I know I have to leave. I have to either go for a walk, or I can't do it in house. I just like, because it's like with just so many distractions around, and I kind of enjoy walks because it's just like you've cast yourself outside of your safe place where there are so many distractions, and now you can kind of focus better. And so that's kind of a struggle with me when I'm doing my series, because I'm kind of deciding when I'm going to take a break, when I'm not. Like, especially if there's like a movie or a TV show I'm really into or something, and I had like a long day. It's really hard to decide, like, okay, instead of resting after a long day, go do more work, and do it for 5 hours or something like that. It's difficult. So yeah, streaming does. When I know somebody's watching, then it's easier. And because it's, I do want to do it. That's the thing. Just basically forcing myself to want to do it. I mean, to do what I want to do instead of being lazy. How long? Okay, so it's been almost an hour. Okay. Probably, I'm gonna try to go about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, since I did that yesterday. I think I'm gonna try to, I keep telling myself I'm gonna try to do that either every day or every other day, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so basically, right now, I think it's probably easier to just show, but I'm going to use this material to cut this so that it can kind of. Okay, it's just. I've explained this unnecessarily. It's just. I'll show you what I mean. Let's see. Did it work? No. Yeah, so that's basically what I mean. use this to cut this plane. It almost worked. Okay, this is not working. Actually, looks like it kind of worked. So let's come on. What was that? I don't know what happened there. All right. Okay, so now you can see the floor is cut so that there's a piece inside. so now we have that one that's cut, and now we have this other one. So now we can have two different colors. So we can make this darker, maybe blue. Yeah, so basically when I did art commissions, I stream to force myself to schedule more consistently. It's probably part of learning how to manipulate. Yeah, it's you kind of need to know how to manipulate yourself. It depends. I mean, I kind of know my process enough to know that I won't procrastinate like too much. I know, when I'm procrastinating, I'm not really. When I was younger, I would just kind of be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it." And now I know that that's BS. And now I know that I'm like, whenever I am at a period where I'm like tired or being lazy, and I'm thinking to myself, "I'm gonna get to it." I know from past errors that like that's not gonna happen. So just start like right now. So that's kind of more what I do is I go, okay, just like start, like just go right now. But yeah, that's one of a couple ways you kind of have to just learn to, you know, to force yourself to do it. Neat trick. Oh yeah. Did you self teach? I don't know. I don't really know. I self teach everything I know. You mean like in terms of like getting work done, having a work ethic, or just in terms of making movies or doing animation? Because a lot of stuff I did self teach. I don't know. I feel like most of the stuff. I don't know if I would call it self. I don't know. It's weird to call it self teaching because I feel because you're learning from other places a lot of time. So it's weird to call it that. But I guess that is what it is. But it's but I mean it's weird for me to think of it that way because I feel like I learned from different movies and different artists and things like that. But for the most part, yeah, I am relatively self-taught. Because when I think about self-teaching, I think about like all the tutorials I did, or like a certain TV show that I watched. I'm like, oh my god, I want to make a show like this, or want to make, So it's like, when I think about like what like other versions of self-teaching. When I think about self-teaching, I think about somebody just alone in a room, meditating and having the information come to them. You know what I mean? That's why I think of like, somebody doing like Jedi training or monk training alone in a room or something. But yeah, in terms of like not being like formally trained, yes, I could definitely say that I'm not formally trained, but I do learn from formal things, if that makes sense. artificial things, I guess would be a better word. But yeah. This is actually coming together pretty well. I'm liking this. Okay, it's a start. I don't think by any means this is going to be the final color, but it's a start. Yeah, I had pretty much the exact same experience at Deep Sea. Uh, and that was kind of part of the reason. The main reason was the cost, but that's part of the reason why I decided to leave after like a year and a half or 2 years or something at it was an art institute, and yeah, it was like I did find that like a lot of things I was learning, like whole classes, like after a whole semester, I would find that like, and granted, I was in like the I didn't stay long, so I'm guessing the longer you stay, the more advanced stuff you learn, and so I get that. But it's like there were some classes early on, and even later on that like I'm like I could have just learned this myself. Like the final, test. Um, like I had a ZBrush class, and I remember like the final test was just something like so simple, and I was like that's what this whole class was for. Like I had moments like that, and I would see people who graduated. That was kind of the biggest thing for me, was seeing people's like graduation finals, and it was like it was things that I kind of I would look at and be like, I could just do that, and I could learn that, yeah, that like on After Effects or whatever. Like I could learn some of the techniques they were doing just online and things, and so it like it just reevaluated my whole look on certain colleges. But I'm sure all colleges are different, so it's not to say, it's not a statement on colleges in general, but more the one that I was at. But it also made me realize that at the end of the day, it's a lot of the information is out there already. Although for like being a doctor or like a lawyer or something, you gotta go to school. At least from what I know. I really hope there's no like uh, you know art students or anything watching this. They're gonna like, hey mom, dad, the guy from the internet told me I don't have to go to school. Like, no, 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 no. Just saying, it didn't work for me. Okay, now I'm just playing around. Um, let's see what's next. Yeah, the one I went to shut down as well. It worked out for me because I went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia, and it worked out for me because I had already left like years prior. I think it shut down in like 2015 or 2016, and I left around like 2013 or 2014. Um, so yeah, I was just, I'm like, it's funny because I noticed that I didn't get as many calls and things about like student loans, and I didn't think anything of it. But then like around 2018, I realized that they closed down. I was like, wait, oh, like, so that's why I stopped hearing from them. but yeah, I can definitely imagine that that could be, it could be very, uh, uh, you know, negative experience if you're going there and working really hard. In your advanced classes, there was people who drew hands backwards, where there was a person. Oh man, I think it's. I mean, ultimately, it's like they can't make you. This will sound mean, but I don't mean it in a mean way. They can't make you, have talent or have that. I don't really believe in talent necessarily, but they can't make you have that intuition. That a lot of what makes an artist, number one, good at technical things, and the creative side is kind of that, your own kind of taste and finding your own kind of style and intelligence. I don't mean this in like a mean way, but you can't make somebody intelligent either. Again, I really, I'm sure that sounds like a dick thing to say, but and this is from somebody who is an idiot. So I'm not a super intelligent person, so I'm a good source on this. I'm definitely not like a Mensa, kind of like someone of that caliber, and I'm very aware. So uh, I'm coming from it from experience, and even things that you learn over time. You go like, oh, that was a stupid mistake I made or something. It's like there's things that a lot of things you just can't teach, and I think a lot of that stuff is where some of like the best art comes from. Is like kind of your own experience and your own taste and your own experience with like art and stuff. It's like when I think about the art and the shows that had a big impression on me, like somebody who's not my generation or not most people who's probably subscribed to this channel, their generation, like our generation grew up with at least I don't know what people's ages are, but I'm guessing most people who subscribe to this channel are around are like 45 or under, so our generation, we grew up with like anime being a big part of our childhood and things like that, and so that so we have that perspective over people who didn't grow up like that and who think like cartoons are like Scooby-Doo or things like that, and Speed Racer, and we, like our generation had some profound experiences like watching anime as a kid, whereas a lot of people older than us didn't. And so it's like somebody like that is gonna have a different perspective on animation. And so it's things like that. Like for me, growing up with like DBZ and stuff and all that stuff is gonna make me feel more inspired to like tell different kind of stories and think differently in animations than somebody who didn't, and to be more inspired by those kind of stories and ultimately create like something hopefully new, and I think that's how like new things are created. And so yeah, it's basically you can't really you can't teach somebody that, you know what I mean. It's like somebody who's maybe in animation college for like I don't know, for like because they watch like Looney Tunes or something, they might be a totally different kind of artist than somebody who is going because they love like stop motion or it's hopefully what I'm saying makes somewhat sense. But all I'd say is you can't really teach somebody inspiration. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And for me, like I sort of found when I was geez, these colors are super ugly. These are definitely not going to be the final colors, but yeah, for me when I was in school, I kind of always had this is gonna sound super arrogant, but I kind of always wanted to do something like what I'm doing now. Like I always thought I always kind of had these kind of stories and these kind of things in my head where I didn't have the skill or the attention span to really achieve it. So it was like so in my case it was sort of like like I even though I wasn't the best artist, I definitely wasn't the best artist in my classes. I still kind of had like if you could imagine me seeing what eventually became Diver, in class, and yet I'm a bad, I wasn't a fast or a great drawer like that, but that still kind of vision, that kind of dream I had or whatever, still eventually kind of drove me to get better and keep going and like force myself to basically get smarter and to be a better student because ultimately making movies is like homework, so you kind of have to be a good student. um, and it's basically it's you can't really I think things like that kind of define what makes certain artists. And I think people like that when you're really inspired by something or when something really has a big effect on you. I think you kind of find your own way to to do it. Whereas I think if you're just trying to learn something for the technical aspect of it, then I think inspiration and becoming a better student and doing all that stuff is probably going to be way more difficult. If any of that makes sense. Sorry, it's difficult to I don't know why I'm having difficulty doing this and talking at the same time, but I think hopefully what I said made sense. If not, I totally understand. I'm just kind of looking at this now. Um, let's take all the blue out. That looks kind of cool. Yeah, I think, well, for me, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but, because I think everyone has their own inspiration, but for me, it definitely, my interest kind of in making something kind of like the things that I really liked when I was a kid definitely was the biggest, kind of inspiration. And, and this is, I mean, the biggest motivator to kind of keep at it, even though I'm definitely by no means like naturally. I was at least at that time I was never a gifted writer or animator at the time, and I mean animation to me is like a technical thing, but yeah, it's definitely a skill that developed out of just wanting to make something cool on my own, really. And yeah, I guess basically what I was trying to say was like I think you kind of need that, you kind of need because when you're in school, it's like no one can really teach you, what your influences are, or what what your taste is or anything like that. So that's kind of something that I always look at it as like making movies specifically like is very much about like storytelling, and I feel like animation and learning animation and like comics and all those things, and kind of all of it ultimately most of the time comes down to storytelling, unless you're like somebody who's just very technically proficient, and people hire you to caricaturize somebody like exactly, unless like that's your technical thing. But most of the time when you're making art or when you're making like a story, it's like pretty much everything is about storytelling. So it's like if you're not if you you know if you're not great at that, or if you don't have like at least a bit of a little bit of a muscle in that can be kind of developed over time. It's nobody can really teach you that, because it's like because ultimately you're gonna have to use creativity to make the story better, and I always think about like stand-up comics and things like that when I think of when I think of like learning storytelling jobs, and I always think about like it's like, a lot of people can learn like the format of a joke and learn that like, timing and learning this is where the punchline will hit or whatever. But like when you think about somebody like a George Carlin or like some of the Robin Williams, like one of the best, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, like they knew that they were really great storytellers. So everything else just kind of revolves, all their form and technical aspect of telling a joke just revolved around them knowing, number one, knowing that they're funny, like knowing that like when I say this part that'll be funny, um, and number two, knowing like the technical aspect too, and knowing how to change that for their own kind of style. And I feel like that's pretty much how like all art works. It's like you can you kind of have to develop this kind of, number one, know your taste, and then from that you kind of know what part of that taste that you're good at, and you kind of learn, and that's kind of how you develop your confidence. And I think the confidence is where you kind of really, where you find out like your strengths and your weaknesses and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's, at least that's what I've observed. um, I've observed that in other people and myself as well, where, and I think, that's a big part of learning any kind of art form that can't really be taught necessarily in a school, which is partly one of the reasons why I left. One of many reasons, but yeah. Okay. Trying to sort of to look at this and figure out, what it's missing. But I think I can. Maybe I'm just procrastinating on modeling the next thing. to make a bar, which is something I've been thinking about for a while. Making a sign, I mean, not in real life. That sounds like something totally different. It's like I've been really thinking about making a bar. No, I mean a sci-fi fantasy bar, and what that will look like. If I can find my reference, which I can't. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to another layer. First I gotta figure out where it is. So I think it'd be kind of cool if the bar was right here and maybe it's in like a triangle shape. So I feel like I've seen a lot of different bars and things. I've never seen like a triangle shaped one. I think that could be kind of, I mean, in the real world, I don't know how, practical that would be, but it doesn't need to be practical. It just needs to look good here. I need like a size reference. So where's okay, so this is for anyone that was here yesterday, you'll remember this. Alright, so I use her as a size reference. Move her. Okay. So I was thinking like the bartender. Actually, no, maybe that wouldn't make sense. I was thinking the bartender would be at the center, like here. Okay, there's enough room. See, if I didn't have a reference, I would think there wasn't enough room there, but because this is a big room, that should be good. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Oh yeah, I've never played any of those. Any of like the non-PlayStation Star Wars games. I never played, unfortunately. So I've never played Knights of the Old Republic, which everyone tells me is it's like one of the greatest games ever. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've never played it. I would love to. I'll probably play it eventually, but yeah, I've never played that, and I've never played the PC ones like the Old Republic. Even though the Old Republic looks really cool, all the cinematics are really cool. I've definitely seen those, but yeah. Okay, so let me make a bar here. It should be like that big. I'm gonna use this shape. I'm actually in the middle of, speaking of, I mentioned this yesterday too, but I actually made a Star Wars fan animation. I finished it earlier this year in January. I'm actually working on a new one, which I haven't really, I don't know if did I say anything about it on social media? I don't know, but yeah, I've been working on that on my other YouTube channel, and I think I'm gonna actually work on that a little more tonight as well. But yeah, it's kind of like a part two to my other Star Wars fan animation. Maybe because Star Wars Visions is out right now. Maybe it'd be a good time to get this finally finished. Plus, I don't like. Plus, I feel like I've been procrastinating on not procrastinating, but putting Diver off for a long time. So I don't want to spend too much time on it on the fan animation, but it is a really cool. I think it's gonna be a really cool film. So yeah, that's on my other YouTube channel, which is just my name. I think I have it in. I think I have it on the channel, on the front channel of Diver. I think. Let me see. Do I have my channel there? Yeah, I do. Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you wanna, for anyone watching, if you wanna go check out that fan animation and my other work, you can go to the Brandon Wright YouTube channel. And I'm still debating whether I want to create YouTube channels for my other series, but for right now, I think it's just gonna stay on that channel, just because I have a lot of YouTube channels I don't want to create anymore. Because if I create a YouTube channel for my other series, Guardian Instance, and my other series, Silverlyn, then I probably will have 1, 2, 3. I will probably have 5 or 6 YouTube channels, and I think that's too much. At that point, I should just create my own network, like, because at that point I'm just doing too much. I should say the web series network or something. I don't know. one big studio channel. So yeah, basically just becoming the Ring at that point. The Ring of, I don't think I'd call it power though. The Ring of original, lesser known web series, which could be a cool title. I don't know how many people watch that movie though, but sorry about that. Hopefully, that was not directly into the mic. But I have been thinking about making like a web series, sort of channel, like a YouTube channel, and the idea of it would be like the idea of it was going to be that it streams the different web series like a couple times a week. It's sort of like a broadcast style instead of because I feel like just creating another place for people to watch videos. I feel like watching is this is maybe why I'm getting my I'm trying to be Nostradamus, or I'm getting too ahead of myself. I feel like the way we kind of stream videos is maybe not just videos with streaming service like Netflix, Apple, and all the streaming services are now. I feel like there's maybe too much, and I feel like there's too much for people to choose from in a way. And I think something where you stream it live and you kind of you only kind of watch it with, as a watch party style with other people, I think could be a cool kind of new thing. And so that was kind of the idea I had for like original kind of web series online, because I feel like just creating another place to look at the videos, I feel like it was kind of pointless. I felt like it was like at that point you could just direct people to the YouTube channels, and the idea was to have like Diver, a couple series by other people that I know, and we were kind of it would be like, you stream episodes, all the episodes of Diver, then you stream all the episodes of this person's series, and you kind of watch it like Toonami, like television style, and then when the stream ends, it's not available to watch anymore. So it's like it's just the live stream place, and then if you want to either watch, the the series again, or if you want to, look up that person that you saw the series by, then you could you would go to the main channel, and then you would see it would be a YouTube channel, so you just go to the channel, then you'd see, oh, there's Diver, there's this series or that series, this series, and so that was kind of the idea behind it, and I think, and I was gonna start it, but just the only drawback was number one, I don't think I could run it myself at this time, just because I'm doing other stuff. I'm kind of busy, and I mostly because I don't want to run it on my own on my computer, because I think it would slow. I would want to work while it was going, and I would want to do other stuff, because the idea would be to stream like all day basically, not just like for a couple hours. So just stream it, and then it would just play like reruns over and over. And so that was kind of the idea, but I couldn't really do that on my computer because I have to do work, and I have to and do this series and my other personal stuff. So I don't think I can handle just like having a couple days a week or even 2 days a week where for 12 hours I can't use my computer. So that's kind of the only drawback. But who knows? Who knows? I would like to do something involving original series. And it's also mostly because um, I don't have the reach right now, and I feel like this kind of idea would be best suited for somebody who's got like a lot of followers or something who could be like, hey, everyone, go check this thing out, and then could share it and be like, oh, look, this person is sharing this thing, and let me share it with the way the internet works, basically, where uh, if people think it's cool, then they share it and all that, and I feel like this idea would be better served like that than me or somebody with a pretty small. I appreciate everyone that follows me, but it's not. I by no means have a big following, so I think it would end up being really difficult to kind of spread the word about it, and also the work involved and all that stuff. Yeah, but who knows? I think I'm gonna kind of see if I can do it after I'm done this episode of Diver, and then we'll see. But for the most part, I think it's probably best suited for somebody or a company or something, like a place to do it. Because I feel like there could be like a webtoon style website. I don't know how many people read webtoons, because I kind of just heard about them like about a year ago or something like that. But I do think people would like a webtoon style site, but instead of comics, it's animation. I think that could be like a cool thing. Yeah, I think maybe that, but I also think there's enough. I think between my series and a couple other series, I think there's enough content for. Because I think our series together. Sorry. I think our series together is like. I think it was about like an hour when I kind of put it all together, and I could add my other series as well. But yeah, I think it would kind of need a like a completed, because the thing is with like Netflix and a lot of these shows, I mean a lot of these streaming services, they had like I think it was called like a flagship show where there's this kind of one or two popular or very well made kind of series, and that's kind of what they launch with, so that people go, because when Netflix was first trying to do streaming, people were like, what, and the DVD service, but then they had they were like, no, we have like Kevin Spacey, and we have a new Marvel show, Daredevil, and we have like Orange is New Black. We have these new big like Hollywood level quality shows, and you can watch those, and so that's kind of how they launched, and it I think it could work with a couple of good, as long as the series are good. And I think Diver's good, and I think the other series that I've been with the other series by the other creators I've been talking to, their series are good. I think even though the series are incomplete, like we all have only a few episodes right now, I still think that well, one of the creators, Adam, has his series. It's called Shattered Heaven. His series has a good amount of episodes. I think he has the most. And I could add my other series, Dead Star, which is probably the longest one. But I think, I don't know, the quality was I was still learning, so the quality is iffy. So I'm kind of nervous to use that as one of the shows, especially to launch with. But I think it could work with our shows because it's about about an hour. But yeah, ideally it would be ideal to have like a completed show that's very good and one that people want to recommend and all those things. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it's tough because web series, specifically like animated web series take so long, so it's kind of tough to have something like that or to finish. But yeah, I think I don't know. It'd be a cool idea, but it'd really be up to us to maintain consistency and all that with our stuff. And so that's kind of what it, because I think if it's ongoing, if I think it could work as like uh we launch it with our shows and people are like, oh, we like these, hopefully, not that, don't want to be presumptuous, but I think they would. And so I think if people discover our work and they go, oh, I like this so far, I think it could work if we're consistent enough. Even if it's like a couple months every new episode, I think it could work that way where it becomes sort of like a Toonami kind of thing, except it's not every single week there's a new episode or something. But I think it could work that way. But how do I rotate? Okay. But also, I think in terms of, I think that sort of idea I think could work more so as a sort of something that's expanding, like something that is always getting kind of new people. Because that's the thing about it's the difference between like you know watching something through live streaming versus watching something just watching a video on your own. Is like you're watching with other people, and that could be fun as opposed to just kind of watching a video, like most things are watched nowadays, which that's has its own fun in it too, of course, but but it could be fun to have like, because for me when I think about my favorite shows, and I feel like I think about if there was a live stream of like one of my favorite shows, that even if it was reruns, it could be cool to see like who else is who's there for the first time or something like that, and or who just wants to watch it again, and it could be fun, but yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. Oh, really? Oh, it's been a year since Ruby. That's interesting. Yeah, I've still never seen Ruby, but I think I saw the first season. I think, or no, I think I saw the first couple episodes like years ago. But yeah, I've never seen it. But that's a show that has a fan base already. It's kind of put out by it's released by studio and all that, and it's yeah, it's different. But yeah, I agree though. I think people can be patient about like the next episodes. But I don't know. I really don't know because the sort of web series state of it right now is in such a anything can really happen. So it's kind of an interesting time because it's such a new format, and it's like it's still not much has been really done in terms of like pop culture. It's not really a a big or popular like independent web series that's not by some company or a celebrity or something like that. But I also feel like maybe it can't happen, or maybe like as soon as it does happen, some company will swoop down and be like, okay, we want to buy this, and that's it. you know, uh, like as soon as something maybe becomes popular, it's like Netflix or Crunchyroll or something comes down and it says like here's X amount of money, and so maybe it's like maybe because I think that's what happened with One Punch Man. I think One Punch Man was a web comic, and then it got super popular, and then they turned into a real show. All right. Crunchyroll series. Noblesse. I don't think I've ever heard of that. But then again, I don't think I've read any webtoons though. But I do know I'm aware of some. I know that like Tower of God is a popular one. But yeah, I've heard that they're making like new stuff and yeah, I think who knows what would happen if there was to be a well known or popular one. Who knows if it would actually stay a web series online for long or what would happen. Um, this is a pretty sloppy model, but whatever. That's fine. I'm still not. It's only because I'm not sure how close this is gonna be. So I'm not sure how close to the camera this is gonna ultimately be. So we'll see. I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm doing now. Maybe this could be like a rack for the alcohol or something. No, that doesn't really make sense. Um, I it's fine. Oh, maybe there's like a shield or something. Well, okay. Not sure why, but sure. Have like a little shield. cool. Okay. I think, wait a minute, do I still have, hang on, let me look at, let's see if I still have stools from episode 1, because the first scene in Diver is at a bar. I'm trying to remember what I used for, like, seats at the bar. I don't remember, because I don't think I made anything new. Let me go all the way back. Oh, I did make really crappy looking stools. Okay, I think that's it for today. I think, I'm trying to think of, like, how this is gonna look in the final. I was gonna go 3 hours, but I think, because I'm getting hungry, I think I'm gonna call it here. But I think once I add, like, some bar stools and some characters sitting there drinking, this will come together. Yeah. Then we'll have, maybe instead of, see, since this is, again, since it's science fiction, this is something I always think about when I do Diver, because I always try to think about including things from the real world, and sometimes it ends up being a little too practical, like a little too looking like real life. And so I was thinking naturally, like, okay, well, behind the bar you're gonna see the alcohol, because that's how it is in real life. But I think it'd actually be better if, what if, like, the screen is like how you order your alcohol, and maybe you get it through the screen or something? Because I was looking at some art, and there were like these glowing alcohol bottles, and it was like a key light sort of art, so they were glowing, just to kind of look cool. But I think that'd actually be a cool idea. Anyway, I'm like, thinking about what to do next session, because I'm not doing that right now. So maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll do that. maybe like I'll make a screen design for this. I feel like it should be reddish. Yeah. So maybe because like right now it just looks okay, but I think with anyway, yeah, I'm I'm brainstorming aloud right now. Okay, so yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Deep Sea. I think I should be streaming tomorrow as well. I think so. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do every day, but maybe I'll try. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, either way, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll get more done next time.